10 seconds. Stand by. Here we go, final event of the weekend for these men here. Rope climbs and thrusters. The first round will consist of 4 rope climbs, followed by 16 thrusters, then 3 rope climbs, 12 thrusters, and finish the event here with 2 rope climbs and 8 thrusters. 7-minute cap, but I'm suspecting not a lot of these men will need that. The rope climb can be done anyhow, so as long as the athlete goes up the rope and touches that top beam of the rig, he will get credit for the rep, as long as his hands on the way down will touch the rope below that black marker. And it's on lane 8, Piotr Milzarek is the first man on to that thruster bar. Piotr Zizinski, lane 9, now coming next to him, and in this first round the athletes will perform 8 reps, then advance their bar to the next section on the floor and finish off the 16 rep count with another set of 8. Lane 8, Piotr Milzarek ready to finish his first round and head back to the rope. He's going to advance his bar first and then move back to the rig to get started with his 3 rope climbs.
And following closely behind on lane 7 is St. Leger. Piotr Milzarek working on his second rope climb right now. He only has 1 left on this second set of rope climbs.
And lane 8, Piotr Milzarek coming back to his barbell. He has to get 12 thrusters done on this round.
He will complete 6 thrusters in the first position and move forward to perform the other set of 6.
For the thruster rep to count, the athletes must have the bar on their shoulders, get down to the bottom of a squat, so hip crease below the knee, and then on the way up, get that bar overhead to a full extension of the knees and hips and arms with the bar over the body. That will credit the athlete with 1 rep. If these standards are not met, the judge will give a no rep to the athlete, and the athlete will have to repeat that repetition. Less than 5 reps to go on this second round for Piotr Milzarek on lane 8. He's in those bright yellow shorts, no shirt on. Lane number 6, Arminas Balevicius, also advancing his bar for the second time. Holding on to second place in the heat. We're coming up on 4 minutes.
And Dirk Wonderly is also done with his second set of thrusters, moving on to his last set of 2 rope climbs. And Piotr Milzarek moving on to his last set of 8 thrusters, ladies and gentlemen.
8 more thrusters to go for Piotr, and then his weekend will be over. Show some support, Berlin, please, to these male athletes as they are wrapping up their weekend. Less than 5 reps to go for Piotr. He's on lane 8. Arminas Balevicius also on his last thruster set beginning right now, and he's gonna try and go unbroken. Lane 6, Arminas in all black, but it's going to be Piotr Milzarek who sets the time to beat at 5 minutes and 9 seconds unofficially.
And Arminas Balevicius is your next athlete to complete this event. And coming in on third with his last set of 4 thrusters, the same St. Ledger. And here comes Dirk Wunderlich.
James St. Ledger on lane 7, finishing up his weekend here. 1 more to go for James. It's James's birthday today. Let's give him a little present as he comes through. Make some noise.
And we
Less
have
than a minute to go, 50 seconds before we hit the cap.
45 seconds working on their last sets. On lane 3, Marcus Eriksson, and on lane 9, Piotr Czusinski and Marcus Eriksson coming in.
30 seconds.
And the next athlete to come in, Piotr
20
Czusinski.
seconds to go. Let's bring these athletes to the finish with style. This is their last event of the weekend.
10
seconds.
Make some noise for these athletes, come on!
3, 2, 1. That does it for heat number 1. 2 more male heats coming up before we move on to the female side. Piotr Milzarek takes the heat and finishes weekend in style. This was the last event for these gentlemen, so one more big round of applause for them, please. Great work, gentlemen, great work.
Ten seconds. Stand by. And with that, we get the second heat of the males underway, completing 4 rope climbs and then 16 thrusters on this first round. And on lane 8, Lefteri Stefanidis only has 1 rep to go, but it is Arni Björn Christensen on lane 5 moving in, followed closely by Kasper Kammermark. Alec Harwood on lane 2 already on his first set of 8 thrusters. This is the last event for these men, and they are hungry. You can see it in their eyes.
In that first heat, the first athlete out of the first round was done in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Let's see if these guys are moving faster than that first heat.
And your
120 on the clock right now as many of these athletes are working through those last 5 repetitions of the round.
And your first athlete to move into 3 rope climbs is Alec Harwood in all black on lane 2.
On the second round, 3 rope climbs and 12 thrusters. Advancing the bar after a set of 6.
And Arnie Björn Christensen on lane 5 takes the lead on this second round and moves on to his 12 thrusters, followed closely by Alex Kotolas on lane 4, Philip Biscard on lane 6, and Kasper Gammelmark on lane 7.
Five minutes, 9 seconds is the time to be here. 5 minutes and 9 seconds. All these 4 men on the middle lanes, these blue lanes are going almost rep for rep. Philip Biscard was the first one to get started on that second set of 6. And he looks pretty fresh here. No problem for Philip. He's going to advance his bar for the final time and head over to the rope for 2 more rope climbs.
Followed closely by Arnie Björn Christensen and Alex Kotolas. All of these men are moving to the last set. And Arnie Björn Christensen on lane 5 has only 1 rope climb left, so he's your current leader now. But lane 6, it is Philip Biscard coming in through for his last set of 8 thrusters, followed closely by Arnie Björn Christensen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise. Cheer these finalists to the finish. They have 8 thrusters left before these regionals are over for them.
Lane 6, Philip Biscard almost done with his thrusters. In the red shorts, he will be the man to take this heat here and set a new time to beat at 4 minutes and 40 seconds unofficially.
And there comes Arnie Björn Christensen, your number 2 in this second heat. Kasper Gammelmark coming in 3rd. And Alex Kotolas coming in at 4th. Next up on the line, on lane 2 is Alec Harwood working on his last set of 4. And that does it for Alec, he's coming in.
All of these men are on those last thrusters. Bart Lipke, 4 more reps to go. As Alexander Ealing gets across the line on lane 9.
These men all have under 4 thrusters to go, so let's show some love for these guys, come on!
Almost done, just keep it coming, keep it coming. We've got a little race for the finish line here. It looks like Zach George takes it, and we get that shuffle again. Yeah, that was a long one now. Great work. This heat belongs to Philip Biscard at 4 minutes and 40 seconds. One more big round of applause for all these male athletes. Their weekend is now a wrap.
Event number 6 contains of 4, 3, and 2 rope climbs, 16, 12, and 8 thrusters. The weight on the thruster will be 155 pounds, and the time cap is 7 minutes.
And that time cap has only been met by 3 of the 19 thus far. Our next 10 athletes include a few people that have had some highs, but they've also had some pretty hard lows, including in lane number 8, Sigurður Þorsteinsson, who won the opening event, has been sliding back down since, but somebody else has become a bit of a human cannonball throughout the past couple of events in lane number 4, Mitchell Adams.
Well, Mitchell Adams did great yesterday, followed it up with a good first performance on the previous event, and I'm looking forward to seeing Mitchell do the exact same thing now. This should be his event, the Cannonball.
And away we go. Time to beat thus far in heat number 2 was set by Philip Bisgaard, 4 minutes 40.70 seconds. Seeing some quick work on this short rope. Forces you to go with that legless strategy, at least for much of the way. Some of the athletes choosing to continue to do so, some choosing to lock their feet.
It's very bold to go completely legless here. I mean, it's not a lot of reps, but it's still going to save you a little bit of grip. You are moving on to the thrusters. You're going to have to rack that bar, and it's going to tax your grip a little bit as well. I would probably go really, really fast with my hands to start with, then lock in my feet, make sure to get a good tap on the crossbeam, and then come down.
England well represented after that first set of rope climbs, as it was Jack Cornthwaite there in the center of the screen in first. Fellow countryman Mitchell Adams, 1 lane over from him with no shirt, black shorts, in second.
And Mitchell Adams just carried the bar forward on his shoulders, and I just popped it overhead. Interesting technique, but it just saved him a lot of energy. I'm thinking we're probably going to see some people pick up on that in future in the weekends ahead.
Quick work on the thrusters on the left side. That's Hanna Malkowski. He will be the first one through the opening round at about 1 minute 20 seconds, and he's opened up a 8-second lead over the rest of the field.
And he's doing just what we talked about. Fast hands to start with, grabs the rope with his feet, and then goes for the touch and the crossbeam.
Cornthwaite doing a double tap of the beam, making sure that he got credit for that. He might have either brushed it or missed it on that first try.
I think the most important thing to remember for these athletes is to don't make it down until you know your judge is giving you the rep. It's easy to just let go and think I'm good to go, but you want to make sure, absolutely sure, you don't have to climb up that rope an extra time.
A no rep on a rope climb is perhaps the most punishing no rep you could possibly get, as Malkowski making his way back to the 155-pound, about 70-kilo bar. This is the round of 12. He'll advance it after rep 6. They'll move it forward every time they're halfway through a round.
And he's making short work of that. At the same time, we're seeing Jack Cornthwaite here doing the same thing. Big, strong unit, and you know he can move that barbell.
Two athletes that typically are known for their team side of things. Of course, Cornthwaite 1 year ago helping JST get to the games after he chose to go team that season for that reason. Malkowski making his individual regional debut after 4 consecutive team appearances, all with CrossFit Idol, including a top 10 1 year ago.
So there's a lot of growing as an athlete that can be done within a team as well. I think it's smart to spend some time in a team and then move on to individuals. Not saying all individual athletes should quit for next year, but I'm just saying that if there's some things that you need to work on, a team is a great place to do it.
1 rope climb down, 1 remains for Malkowski on the far left side. He'll make the touch, and it's a 1 rep lead for him over Cornthwaite. So make it about 10 seconds, maybe 15 by the time you get that rest in that climb. Again, 4:40.7, the time to beat, set 1 heat ago by Philip Bisgaard. 8 thrusters, all that remains. He'll move it forward after rep number 4.
And still making short work of these thrusters, Hanna Malkowski.
And Malkowski will very well be a spoiler in the points race, as he's going to come in sub 4 at this rate. New event leader, and why not on a day where Russia might send their first 2 to the games? Malkowski, the event leader, also from Russia.
That was impressive. That was very, very impressive. Fast and decisive on the thrusters, consistent on the ropes. And Jack Cornthwaite is still out here on his thrusters. Facial expression maybe making it look harder than I think he thinks it is. But that run to the finish line for a good heat as well here.
It's a painful final sprint to the line here to close out the weekend for him. 4 minutes, 23.13 seconds. Good for the second fastest time thus far.
And on the floor, we've got a little fight here between Victor Långsved and Uldis Upnikis.
Långsved in the gray on the left side of the screen. Upnikis on the center of the screen, white and orange. And he's struggling with that bar, and he's just barely going to hold up Långsved in at 4 minutes and 58 seconds. There are going to be times from prior heats that will factor in now. Mitchell Adams trying to hang on as
Klaus Ugehoy.
Klaus Ugehoy, the next finisher, 5th. Here comes Adams. Showed some flashes of brilliance this weekend. He'll find himself hovering around that 15th position, maybe a top 12 in the point standings at the end.
It's pretty obvious. Give him an event that's in his wheelhouse, and he will be the monkey wrench.
Joshua Wistrup, our next finisher, as he's going to be just ahead of Sigurður Þröstarson. We have 2 athletes left, both on opposite ends of the floor, as Marcus Schmidt in lane number 10 is making his way across the line, 5:56. Final couple of reps for Kevin Winkins. And he gets the go-ahead to end his weekend of competition, rounding out our heat at 6 minutes and 10 seconds. And that is a quick heat thus far. All the top 3 all in under 5 minutes, led by the new event leader Hena Malkowski in under 4 minutes at 3 minutes 55 seconds. The first man to go sub 4 here in this regional.
And it just becomes really obvious that what you need to do is consistent on the rope climbs. And once you got to the thrusters, just like you see right here, easy work, consistent breathing through it, clean reps. And the reason he could do that was that he was being patient on the rope, fast hands, making sure there were no reps, fast hands, lock your feet in. And once you got, like I said, back to the thrusters, it was all about consistency and good movement patterns.
Time for 5 more to find out if they'll be going to the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, this time on the men's side, as we're ready for the final heat of the weekend here at the Velodrome in Berlin, Germany. And this one has got a little bit of intrigue, especially atop the points leaderboard, where it's just 16 points separating first through third. Roman Krennikov continuing this star-making weekend. He's in at 400 points in first. Adrian Mundweiler, 2 points back. Lucas Hogberg, 16 back. Andre Ganin, not far behind either, 32 back. And in the 5th spot, it's the comeback kid this weekend, Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson, 20 points ahead of Fredrik Egidius around that cut line.
And Fredrik Egidius finds himself around that cut line again this year, again comparing and then competing with his friend Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson for that spot. I think they've both agreed that, you know, friendship's left at the door. When we're out here, we're going to do the best we can. But it's interesting.
And it'll be a fast and frantic finish here this weekend.
And it really will. Event number 6 is 4 time, 4, 3, and 2 rope climbs, and 16, 12, and 8 thrusters. The thrusters will be at 155 pounds, and there is a 7-minute time cap on the event.
Don't expect the points leaders or anybody around those 5 qualifying spots to need that 7-minute time cap, as we're ready to go for the final time here at the newly re-established Europe Regional. 10 athletes set to throw down for the final time. As here in heat number 4, the points leader, Roman Krennikov, will be in lane number 5. Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson, bubble athlete, lane 3. Fredrik Egidius, 1 spot out, will be in lane number 8. Away we go for the final time. The time to beat set in heat number 3. Hena Malkowski, 3 minutes, 55.75 seconds.
And these guys are going at it hard to start with, leaving absolutely nothing out there. Now, I've said in the past heats that I think you should be a little bit conservative on the first couple of rope climbs. I see none of that with these gentlemen.
First man to break away for the bar is actually Lazar Dukic in lane number 9 in the orange and gray shorts. Roman Krenikov, the points leader in the white shirt, red and black shorts, is second, with Björkman Carl Gudmundsson, Lucas Högberg, and Andre Ganin not far behind as the rest of the field joins them.
And I really don't think we're going to see any of these guys slowing down throughout the event at all.
Keep an eye on where they are on the floor as they will advance the bar every time they complete halfway through the round of the thrusters. They'll also advance it before they make their way back to the rope. There's a look at the fittest man in Serbia for the second consecutive year, Lazar Dukic, the first man to advance to the barbell.
And he did start out with a very impressive speed on the rope.
But the first man through the thrusters and making their way back to the rope is going to be Björkman Carl Gudmundsson. He needs to finish 4th or better in this event to clinch a spot in the games for a 5th consecutive year.
No doubt that he's out there trying to do everything he can to make sure that happens.
Your top 5 athletes are 5 of the top 6 here in this heat. It's 1 through 5 of the point standings along with Dukic.
And Björkman here, notice how fast his hands are to start with, then swings up, stands up, and gets the touch.
But he finds himself behind Roman Krenikov, and that has been a position that a lot of these athletes have been in all weekend long. Krenikov, who actually has yet to win an event this weekend, but he's been so consistent with 4 top 5s in the first 5 events, finding himself 2 points clear of Mundweiler for the points lead.
And Krenikov said when we talked to him a little bit earlier, he said that he was just going to go out there and do the best he could. Looks like that's going to do very, very well for him. Technique is really, really good. He hasn't been to the Russian sports college. That's the kind of base you get there.
So while Krenikov on the left leads the way, and it's Gudmundsson in second, this man, Frederick Agidius, might find himself on the outside looking in at the end of things, as he is the 7th athlete to make his way back to the bar for the set of 12 thrusters, as Krenikov pulls away, making his way back to the rope. Gudmundsson behind him, and it was just off camera, but he was looking directly at Agidius as he did that, making sure he knew where Frederick was.
And of course, that's exactly what you need to do if you're as experienced as Björkman and in the position that Björkman is. Make sure that you know where the guy you're competing with is.
3 minutes in, and Krenikov is already making his way back to the 155-pound bar, about 70 kilos, for the final set of 8. He'll do 4, advance it forward, and do another 4. Roman Krenikov, 17th ranked in Europe North, coming out of the Open. This is his first regional appearance. And not only will it be the highest finish for a Russian athlete in regionals ever, he will be the first Russian athlete to qualify for the games. And we asked, what can he not do? For the first time, he'll win an event. There is your Europe regional champion, Roman Krenikov.
We have yet to find out what he can't do.
Now behind him, it is a 3-way race. Gudmundsson, Ganin, and Mundweiler, and it's going to be BK Gudmundsson. This will be good for what looks like 3rd in the event. He needed 4th or better to get a spot, and it unofficially has a 3rd. Adrian Mundweiler looking to be just ahead of Andre Ganin. They will finish 3rd and 4th in the heat. There will be prior times from earlier heats that will factor in.
Lucas Högberg still out there fighting for the last rep on the thrusters, finishing off now.
For Lucas, he needed 22nd or better. It does appear that he has done that. Of course, there are other times that we are going to wait for, as Bronislaw Alenkovic will be our next finisher. And Frederick Agidius will see William Kane go by him. And this will be the end of the line, most likely, for Frederick Agidius. He likes to cut it close, and this time he cut it a little too close for a little too long, it appears.
He did find himself in a good position, but then it just everything, well, we saw the entire jaw just get turned upside down.
Lazar Dukic will finish, and that leaves 1 athlete on the floor, and that's PD Savage in lane number 1. Savage making his 4th regional appearance. his third, his first as an individual. He's been here twice on a team. Said it's a 5-year dream to get to regionals as an individual, and this dream will finish out as he closes out our final heat, and it might be a top 10 points finish for somebody that's been waiting 5 years to get here. Somebody that hasn't even done CrossFit for 5 years may have the dream of a regional championship, and that is Roman Krennikov, who takes his first career event win at 3 minutes 42.91 seconds.
And it looks like it's starting to dawn on him what he did. It was impressive from start to finish. He was very, very fast on the rope. And then what we saw him do was on the rope was basically just fast hands, stand up, and then touch. And if he couldn't do that with his feet, he just went legless. Thrusters were consistent, they were fast, and he was breathing his way through them, and that's what set him up for the finish that was way out ahead of everybody else. Krennikov still has a lot of potential, and to be honest with you, this is his first year, but I'm looking forward to seeing him for many years to come.
Yeah, we've spent this weekend just trying to figure out more about Roman Krennikov. We're going to have more time to do that as we have that build up to the games in August. Somebody that we do know a little bit about is Lucas Högberg, who may have done just enough to get himself a spot in the games, and he's with Nikki Brazier.
So we are going to be waiting for the official numbers still here, obviously, but you were sitting in a pretty good position going into this event, and I know last year you had some heartbreak at the end of regionals when you did not make it to games. So what would a trip to games mean for you this year?
Everything. This is my life.
Yeah?
I love it. So been focusing even more on myself, and I'm so happy, excited, competing against everyone here, and like all the volunteers and judges, really good, and the crowd. I'm so happy, and thank you, CrossFit, for hosting this.
You made a huge showing this weekend. What did you change or improve in your training over the year to get back here this weekend?
Well, like I said, I try to focus more on myself and not to be, look too much on other athletes and improve myself instead. Focus on my weak spots. Yeah.
You did an awesome job. Let's wait for the numbers here. Great work this weekend.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Lucas Högberg hoping to make what will be a 4th appearance at the games as he closes out his weekend with a 7th place finish here in the final event. Roman Krennikov and Heda Malkovsky, why not? On a weekend that's been huge for the Russian men. We have Russia 1, 2, and 5 at event number 6. Björkvin Carl Gudmundsson in 3rd, Adrian Mundpeiler in 4th, as it appears that they might be finding themselves going back to the games as well.
Well, they would be, if that's the way things work out, then I have to say I'm very happy with the athletes that we will be sending from the European region or the Europe region. I think we're going to see them do very, very well in Madison. Well-rounded athlete that don't just show up dominating one side of the field. They're really good, well-rounded.
As we wait for the official final results, Roman Krennikov, he knows he can breathe easy as he wins the final event. He came into this with the points lead, put 2 and 2 together on that one.
And it just dawned on me that we may have seen something that's really unique when he celebrated that event win. I haven't seen him celebrate anything, and being from Siberia, I'm just thinking that, you don't get to see that many emotions from this guy. I'm happy, and I think he should be too. He's been an amazing athlete to watch.
Originally from Siberia, moved to St. Petersburg, Russia, for athletes to train with, basically. You spoke about it earlier, going to the sport university for Olympic training, basically, in Russia, for lack of better terms, I believe.
Yes, he did, and that's what happens there is that you get a wide base of athletic capacities to build off, and then you may propel in one area or another and then make it onto the Olympic reserve. That being said, it kind of speaks volumes to training a wide base. Who knew? You need to be good at everything.
Apparently including breakdancing. There might be a lot of people that pick that up here in the next few months.
Either that or a lot of breakdancers who start looking themselves in the mirror and going, maybe CrossFit's for me.
So while the athletes on the floor continue to wait, let's go down to Nikki Brazier with an update.
You guys, so much excitement down here on the floor right now, especially from our Russian athletes. You see Roman's got the flag draped around his shoulders, and it's been signed by members from his gym right after they both crossed the finish line. Him and Andrei Ganyan held hands and raised their arms up. They'll be the first Russian athletes to make it to games. This crowd is unbelievable.
A moment ago, you saw Björkman Carl Gudmundsson and the crowd having that moment as he was leading that Icelandic Viking clap that has almost become notorious at Games events now with the success that the country of Iceland has had. If he does in fact have enough to hold on to one of those 5 qualifying spots, it will continue his streak of 5 consecutive years at the Games, continue Iceland's streak of sending a male athlete for those same 5 years as well.
He's been a fierce competitor, and what I'd like to see if he goes is that he gets some treatment for that knee. I don't want to have to wonder while looking at him in Madison, both for his own sake and for everybody else. The excitement that he was looking for and that he said, I'm adding a bit of spice to this. I'd like to see him just cruise in the top 3, top 5.
Speaking of nationalities, we've never seen a Russian individual athlete make it to the Games. And as you see Andrei Ganyan and Roman Khrennikov, we may very well see 2 going in the same year.
It's incredible, and it just goes to show how we as a sport are developing or evolving and reaching more and more people, and people who may not have been exposed to CrossFit before get exposure and they make it onto the floor.
And it does appear that the time is now for our official results. We go back down to the floor and Hanu.
Here we go, Berlin. The final results are in for the men. Taking first place with 4 top 5 finishes over the weekend, with 500 points from Russia, from Sever CrossFit, going to the Games for the first time, Roman Khrennikov. Taking second place with 482 points. One first place finish this weekend in event number 4. And going back to the Games for the second time after a 1-year break. From Germany, CrossFit Rhein-Neckar, Adrian Munweiler. Taking third place with 456 points. 5 top 10 finishes over this weekend here in Berlin. 3-time Games competitor. From Stockholm, Sweden, representing CrossFit Nordic, Lucas Höberg. Heartbreaking year last year for Lucas, but he gets redemption here and earns another trip to the Games. Fourth place. Last year in Madrid, we already saw a few flashes from this gentleman. He showed that he belongs. This weekend, taking 2 first place finishes in events 2 and 5. With 448 points. Going to the Games for the first time from Russia, CrossFit MDN, Andrei Ganyan. And finally, the 5th and last qualifying spot This man had a rough start for the weekend on Friday. We're not used to seeing him in other heats than the last one. Yeah, buddy! His best finish this weekend was second in event number 3. He's a 4-time Games competitor, hailing from Iceland, representing CrossFit Hengil, Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson! So ladies and gentlemen, these are your top 5 athletes qualified from the Europe Regional here in Berlin, Germany. Roman Krenikov, Adrian Munweiler, Lukas Höberi, Andrei Ganin, and Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson.
At the Europe Regional, we had a return to this regional with the addition of it, adding to the Meridian Regional. And the theme of this year is quite possibly, especially on the men's side, the year of the Russians. For the first time ever, we'll see a Russian individual games athlete, and we won't see just one, we'll see 2 of them. Andrei Ganin, 4th place, and Roman Krenikov, the Europe Regional champion. They're both with Mickey Brazier.
We're making history at this regional with the first 2 Russian athletes ever to go to games. I'm going to start with Roman coming in 1st place on top of the podium. Only been CrossFitting for 2 years. Everyone wants to know, how did you make it here? How did you train to get to the top of the podium at this regional event?
Ты сейчас всех удивил. Первый русский, который едет на игры. Всего 2 года занимаешься кроссфитом. Что ты делаешь? Как ты тренируешься? Как тебе удалось этого добиться?
Ну, все зависит от режима. Я очень четко выстроил свой режим. Я поставил свои тренировки на первый план, а все остальное шло назад. И все, я полностью выкладывался, отдавался своему делу, и все воздалось.
So discipline makes a really big difference. So I decided to sacrifice everything else and just train and prepare for the competition.
And Andre, we've seen you were such a fierce competitor all weekend, and those couple spots underneath the first one were shuffling across around the day. So what did you need to do to focus and push your way to the top?
To lose weight and make more gymnastics.
Yeah, and that obviously paid off. What are you going to do between now and the games to train and prepare for that level?
Add some cardio, swimming, cycling, like this. Well, I'm ready for games, just cannot get there before this year.
You're going to get there now. Congratulations to these Russian athletes. For the first Russian athletes to ever go to games. Great job this weekend, you guys.
It is a big statement from Russia here coming out of the Europe Regional. And speaking of statements, how about the one made by an athlete sitting in 19th place after day number 1, where that athlete said, oh no, I'm still going to go to Madison. That athlete finishing 5th. Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson called a shot and he connected on it as he rounds out our field of 5. Again, it's Roman Krenikov first at 500 points. Adrian Mundweiler will go back to the games. He's 2 for 2 when he finishes a regional. He was successful in 2016, successful again this year. Lucas Högberg is back after missing by 2 points a year ago. Andrei Ganin, who you just heard from, in 4th. And Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson rounds out the top 5. Gudmundsson is standing by with Mickey Brazier.
Björgvin, you came off a rough day 1 and also off of a knee injury. So how did you end up making it through and climbing your way back into that top spot?
Honestly, I have no idea. After Friday, I was sure that I wasn't going to compete even on Saturday. But I have a great team behind me. We had 2 guys coming in from London, osteopaths, and just like great at their job. And it held up. It held fine up. I was a little bit worried about the last event, but everything seemed fine, but I'll have to double check when I get home.
I was going to say, do you go straight into training? Do you do some rehab to make sure that nothing gets worse? What's your next step?
Yeah, right. So now we've got about a week. We're the first weekend, so that gives a little bit of like edge over the 3rd weekend, for an example. So I'll take the next couple of days to like kind of figure out what to do, and it's nothing serious. We have been like informed that it's nothing serious, so it should be good for games.
Well, congrats on your repeat trip to games.
Thank you so much. This might be the best one, actually.
Great, that's awesome. Thank you.
It also might be the best comeback we've ever seen after day one. Ben Smith, similar fashion, went from 19th to qualify for a spot after his first day a year ago. Goodmanson doing the same thing here, 19th to 5th.
Well, we talked about it. It's not bragging if you can back it up, and he sure did when he said, you know, I may not win, but I am going back to Madison.
How about the feel that we had from this Europe regional? It's a return to it as we add it from the Meridian regional as well. But what a vibe it has been this weekend here in Germany.
Everything from volunteers to the spectators all the way through has just been amazing. And you know that has propelled these athletes on the floor to do their absolute best.
So from Regional 1 on week number 1, the first 5 tickets have been punched for the teams, women, and men for the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. There's still 2 final days remaining in the East and in the South. You can always follow that as well on games.crossfit.com. But congratulations to the Max Pole Spartans, Annie Thorsdottir, Roman Krennikov, your champions at the Europe Regional. For Mads Jakobsen, Nikki Brazier, I'm Brandon Domain. Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll catch you next time.